Hey, Kris and Larry family. So welcome to Freeze Dry Friday. Today I am freeze drying a gallon of fresh milk. We have a friend who's got a cow and she had some extra milk. So we're going to go ahead and make some milk powder to preserve for later. We ended up with 8 gallons of milk, and I know my kids won't go through that before it goes bad. And rather than putting it in the freezer, we're going to go ahead and put it in the freeze dryer. Now there's some great tips and tricks to freeze drying milk. A medium-sized freeze-dry machine, Harvest Right freeze-dry machine, which is what we've got 2 of those. The medium will hold exactly 1 quart in each tray. So what I do is I take my milk, I shake it up really good. You can see the cream is already separated on the top because this is fresh milk. And I pour it into a 1 quart jar. Then I go to my freeze-dry machine with my trays already in it, and I pour the quart of milk in each tray. Now, when I bag that up, when it comes out, we actually bag them up in quart size portions. And that way, it's so much easier to measure out in the long run. So follow us today on our journey and I will show you how I do this. Okay, so I've already put the very first jar in my machine. My machine is in the other room cooling, and I've shaken it up, but I've got a little bit more cream here at the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and shake that a bit more and see if we can get some of that cream out into the milk. Now, the thing about fresh milk is it does separate. This is not pasteurized. This is raw from the cow. So as it sits in my refrigerator, it does start to separate and all the cream goes on top. Now, I can go ahead and pull that cream off the top and use that for my coffee creamer or as whole whipping cream for later, or even make that into butter. But instead, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just mix this in and use it for later. Okay, now that I've got everything mixed up and it looks pretty good, there's not a lot of cream here on the top. I'm gonna pour 1 quart. Go right up to that line there. All right, so I leave that 1-inch headspace just because that makes it a little bit more even. All right, so as you can see, it's really warm today. It is still cool in this vacuum sealed down, but I'm gonna go ahead and add my milk a little bit early, even though it says to wait the 15 minutes. Now the trick to this is just pulling out your trays just a little bit. You can see this one is pulled out. I've got milk in this top one already, and you're just going to pour this right in. Do it slow so you're not getting a ton of bubbles. Like I said, 1 medium tray will hold exactly 1 quart of milk. Now, because I have so much extra milk from my friend, which, like I said, I appreciate and love her so much for this because, hey, fresh cow's milk, you can handle that. I'm gonna go ahead and start bagging up other bits into quart size increments so I know what's gonna fit in each freeze dry tray. Now you can choose to go ahead and put it in a quart size bag, but that's not gonna fit in your freeze dry trays for later if you use it as frozen. So what I'm actually gonna do is put it into gallon size bags, and I'm putting a quart at a time. So it seems like a little bit of a waste, but I'm throwing them in my freezer so that I can throw them right on those freeze dry trays later on. Now, the other thing that you can do, if it makes it easier for you, is you can get a pint-sized jar and measure out pints. Now, I have picked up these size trays. I'll put the link in the description below, but these fit 2 in my freeze dry machine, so I can actually separate some things out. They're on Amazon. I picked them up, but you can put a pint in a quart-sized jar and just make sure that it fits in that tray. And then when you take those out, you can put 2 of those frozen bags on each of your freeze-dried trays in your machine. I'll show you. Okay, so my machine has been cooling down for 20 minutes now, but it's only at 53 degrees. So I'm gonna let it sit and continue to cool down, and then we will close everything up and get it going.
Well, hello there. I am going to be putting all of these milks into our fridge freezer out in the garage. Make sure they're all flat, and
why do we make sure they're flat?
We make sure they're flat because they're easier to defrost, and they help better to get out of the bag. Yeah,
that, and then you can put them in the freeze dryer when they're flat. When they're all chunkied up, they're too tall.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you're gonna put all these in. So you've got a handful in your hand. We have a bunch of piles here going. So she's gonna get these all taken care of, and we have a couple more loads for the freeze dryer then.
Bye.
Hey, Kris and Larry family, welcome back. We have had the freeze dryer going for about, I'd say, it was going for about a day and a half, 36 hours, but I put it on for an additional 12 because it was going to end in the middle of the night. So the milk is now done. This one had a bit of a bubble. That's caused by extra sugar. And being that this was raw goat's milk and not processed, there's going to be some, it processes just a little bit different. So basically what I'm doing is I'm scraping 1 quart in each of these bags. We'll add an oxygen absorber and we'll seal these up. Now this works wonders for my family because if I am out of milk, they can just go ahead and grab this, and this is some fresh milk for them. So I will tell you, I like doing the freeze-dried milk. Now, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it comes out chunky. So what I do is I take these bags, I crush down the powder. When I go to remake it, I put the exact amount of liquid that I want into my blender or into a pitcher with a stick blender, and then add my powder, and I blend until it is completely done, and it makes it nice and frothy. And then I throw it back in the refrigerator and use it later that day. So I never make it right then and there. You can choose however you want to do it though. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring a bell, and we will see you on the next video. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye.